Welcome to part two of the Alicia Andrews murder case, where she's accused of being a conspirator in the murder of a rapper called Julio Fulio in Florida, in Tampa. And this is part two, and this is the opening statement of her defense. And it's all need to be put to trash.
Ultimately, though, Alicia Andrews and the friend or follower does not book the Airbnb. Somebody else does. Alicia Andrews did not know that somebody else books the Airbnb. She was out of the loop. Nonetheless, Airbnb booked on the way to Tampa. Isaiah Chance, and you saw the video, before he picks up Alicia Andrews, stops by Sean Gaithwright's house, where he packs up all of these bags. Alicia Andrews never sees what goes into the Impala. She's not a part of that packing process, not in the loop. Isaiah Chance goes and then picks up Miss Andrews, brings her back to where they pack the bags, and then they head down to Tampa. Miss Andrews believes that they're about to hit the road, come straight from Jacksonville to Tampa, but they make a stop at this gas station. As Alicia Andrews sees her boyfriend get out and dap up some people and what have you, and the next thing you know, they're on the road again. Now, mind you, Sean Gaithwright's in the driver's seat. Isaiah Chance is in the front passenger seat, and Alicia Andrews is in the back seat, on her phone, TikToking, FaceTiming, or whatever it is they do on a road trip. Once arriving in Tampa, get to the Airbnb, just her, Isaiah Chance, Sean Gaithwright. While the two men in front get out of the car, Miss Andrews is in the back still on her phone. The gentlemen get out of the car, go inside the Airbnb. Miss Andrews then later gets out the car a few minutes after, goes to the front door. You saw it in the video. Knocks on the door and waits for someone to let her in. Now,
Why would she do that? Wha- if you arrive at the Airbnb with everybody, and the prosecutor said the others, they didn't use the front door, they used the back door. Then you get out the car and you knock on the front door to let you in an Airbnb that was only supposed to be for you and your boyfriend on a honeymoon. But now you're allowing a group of men to go in the Airbnb before you. You know how a woman is. You know how females is. They always want to go in the place first because they want to grab the first best spot, the first piece of the bed, or the best couch, or the best pillow. That's how females are. It's very awkward for a woman to go last and then go through a door that the others didn't go through. Like, why you didn't ask? Like, yo, why y'all didn't go through the front door? Like, you never thought to ask that question?
when Detective Juan Ramos sees the video of Miss Andrews at the door, he perceives that Miss Andrews must have been the one who let the people who let her in the Airbnb because they don't see anybody else go in before her. Not the case. And the evidence will show you that. Alicia Andrews knocked on the door for the first time ever, approaching the Airbnb for the first time ever, let in by someone who was already in the Airbnb. She did not walk in the Airbnb and unlock a back door to let people come in to avoid being captured by the Ring camera. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Once inside the Airbnb, Miss Andrews goes upstairs, takes the laundry off the bed, the linen off the bed, puts it in the washing machine downstairs, and goes back upstairs. And so she's washing the bed linen and upstairs on her TikTok, on the phone, TikToking or whatever it is, talking to her sister via text message and talking to Mr. Chance's mother about how to operate the washing machine. And so she's upstairs the entire time before they leave to go to McDonald's. Alicia Andrews does not know who's coming in and out downstairs, doesn't know that there's a Rashad Murphy coming by, a Davion Murphy showing up, no clue. When it's time to go to McDonald's, though, she finds out. When it's time to go to McDonald's, she comes downstairs, and Mr. Chance gives her the keys and says, hey, go get in the car.
Bad defense. When you're giving an opening statement, let me tell y'all something. When you're giving an opening statement, the trick is to make sure you don't distract the jury yourself. If you have to drink water, you open up something that's solid. You don't open something that's clicking like click, clack, click, clack, gong, 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 boom. No, that's not how you work an opening statement. You have to be silent. You can't be the one that distract yourself from your own story.
And of course she does. She goes and gets in the passenger seat of the silver cruise that you saw in the video, expecting that Mr. Chance would join her in the driver's seat and take her to get food. However, that's not what happens. Mr. Davion Murphy, big guy, listed at about 5'9", 215 pounds, burly looking fella, a little gruff, comes
I call him Doodle Face.
outside and makes Mr. Chance get in the back seat, and he hops in the front seat, and he drives the cruise to the McDonald's. And you see Davion Murphy in the driver's seat, Alicia Andrews in the passenger seat, and Isaiah Chance is in the back. Now, in the interrogation room, Detective Ramos tells Alicia Andrews that she must not be wearing a mask at the clubs to conceal, she must be wearing the masks at the club to conceal her identity because she's not wearing the mask at the McDonald's. But the reality is, Alicia Andrews thought that it was just going to be her and her boyfriend. No reason to wear the health mask, the medical mask. Then she didn't.
What? Wait a minute. So she didn't feel the need to wear the mask in a car with a group of strangers, but she felt the need to wear the mask taking a walk with her boyfriend, and he's also in a mask and a hoodie. Yo, you can't get any worse defense than that.
Know that Davion Murphy was going to bum rush the ride and take control of the driver's seat, let alone did she expect Isaiah Chance to let him do so. So she's caught without her mask unexpectedly. Davion's in the video. You see him smoking and puffing, and Alicia wants to say something, but she can't because she's afraid to say something to this guy who just bogarted the cruise, made her man get in the back seat.
Another psychological defense. He's gonna play with the jury. He's gonna go into the deep subconscious of the jury to let them know that, she's a woman. She gets scared sometimes. she gets afraid, and sometimes she go out in the dark, and there's like cats and there's like crickets. She thinks the crickets are people that's trying to get her and RAP her sometimes. The crickets. Yes, she's afraid of crickets.
and took over. She won't say anything. Not because she was trying to hide herself. She didn't say anything because she was scared. Not because she wanted the guy to smoke in her face, because she was scared. They get back to the Airbnb, and a few.
It's crazy how these girls that act like men, that got tattoos of their neck of, Uzis and shotguns and all type of AKs, and they got all type of gutters on their neck. It's crazy how they all of a sudden just get scared.
Hours later, they head out again. Go to Club Teasers. Now they're in the cruise again, and Isaiah Chance is driving. Now the state asserts that because Isaiah Chance is driving and Alicia Andrews is right next to him while Isaiah Chance is on her phone, Alicia must have heard everything Isaiah said. They got that from Juan Ramos. But that's a bad assumption because there's...
Objection to that comment, Your Honor. Is it proper?
Anyway, again, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this are just the opening statements. The attorneys are telling you what they believe the evidence will be. That's all that it is, their belief. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Malcolm.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's a bad assumption because there's no way of knowing. Although the cell phone data shows
This defense attorney, he has an extraordinary belief. But he's doing the best he can with what he got to work with. And that's what a defense attorney does.
that line was open and there was communication between the two phones, there's no way of knowing whether Isaiah Chance was the talker or the listener. And even if Isaiah Chance was the talker, there's no way to know whether he was using explicit language that Alicia Andrews could understand. So, when in the interrogation room, Detective Ramos asks Alicia Andrews what Isaiah Chance was saying, and she says, "I don't know." It was the truth. She didn't know. And there is no evidence whatsoever to the contrary. When they get to the club and they get out, Detective Ramos assumes that Alicia Andrews allowed Isaiah Chance to use her phone. That's not the case. When Isaiah Chance says, "Give me the phone," she knows it's in her best interest to give him the phone. And so she does.
Okay, now you see how he connected his two defenses together from what he said earlier. He started out his defense saying that Isaiah Chance is abusive. She's scared of him. She didn't know what type of guy he was. In high school, he was like, tall, handsome, and she was just attracted to him through his sister. And he started to graduate the story into how dangerous he is, how abusive he is. Now he's connecting it right here for the jury.
Isaiah Chance uses Miss Andrews' phone all the time, whenever he wants. Nothing new, nothing strange whatsoever to Miss Andrews. "Give me your phone, here's the phone." So he asks for the code to unlock the phone, and Miss Andrews gives him the code to unlock the phone. Nothing new, nothing strange, nothing suspicious about this at all. And you see them walking, and conspicuously you'll note that though there's an assertion that all the defendants in this murder conspired together, coordinated together, One stands out. When you see them in the video at Truth 18 and teasers, you see that Isaiah Chance is dressed in all black, face covered with the health mask, hoodie on. You see Alicia Andrews not dressed in all black, mask on, face completely exposed. When you see the video of the shooters at the hotel, all dressed in black, from head to toe. Rashad Murphy and Sean Gaithright. Everybody's coordinated, dressed in black, covered from head to toe. Isaiah Chance, Rashad Murphy, Davion Murphy, Sean Gaithright. All of them except Alicia. She wasn't in the loop. Then
Alicia wasn't even dressed like a girl of her age and what she's into and her style of chick. You could look at her and tell what type of chick she is. You know, them ghetto chicks, light skin, she get all pretty. Oh, she could probably put on some heels now. She was dressed like she was on a lookout.
they walk up to the club. You see them go out of camera, then go back to the car, and they leave. Now, the state says that everywhere they went, they were following Charles Jones. As a matter of fact, the state even said Alicia was driving. Said that twice. Alicia Andrews doesn't even have a driver's license. Doesn't even know how to drive. Never drove. Was never in control of the situation. She was a passenger in a car. Her boyfriend drove, in her mind, to get some food and to go to a few clubs in Tampa. She had one agenda.
The only thing that could destroy this story if the prosecutors sent a team out there to go to our high school, interview people, and find out have anybody ever seen her drive. You know, in high school, sometimes they have like a driving class. Has she ever taken a driving class in high school? If they get this type of information, if they have a photo of her driving anywhere on the street, there are millions of cameras everywhere. You could find out if somebody drove before, unless they just drove in like a backyard somewhere. This could destroy the defense case, which already have been destroyed about 20 times.
To be with her boyfriend. No mission to do anything to Mr. Charles Jones. Be with her boyfriend. But the state says, and Detective Bramo said it too, that Alicia Andrews, if she wasn't a part of the conspiracy, should have stayed in the car. Could have stayed in the car. But at the same time, the state tells you that Mr. Jones died in the car, caged. He was a sitting duck in a car. So, of course, when Isaiah Chance gets out of the car in the middle of the night, Alicia Andrews knows better than to just stay in the car. She came with her boyfriend, intends to be with her boyfriend, gets out with her boyfriend, and walks to the club with her boyfriend. She didn't stay in the car like a sitting duck, because bad things can happen to you when you sit in the car in the parking lot. That's it. That's all. No evidence whatsoever suggesting that Alicia Andrews was on some surveillance mission.
He's using a defense saying that because Julio died in a car, she didn't stay in a car because things like that can happen to her. I'm done.
As a matter of fact, there's no indication that Isaiah Chance needed her help to survey anything. When walking, you'll see Alicia Andrews is farthest away from the club. Both clubs. No indication whatsoever that Alicia Andrews was on some kind of surveillance team, surveillance mission. She wasn't even dressed like the rest of the alleged conspirators.
The girl wasn't even dressed like she was going to the club. And why would you say that she wasn't on a surveillance, but she was the furthest away from the club? I thought that she went to the club to go to the club. How you go to the club to go to the club, but you far away from the club? How? Please explain this. Explain this to a person like me. A person like me that could possibly be on somebody's jury and basically saying guilty.
Alicia Andrews tells Detective Ramos this, but he says, no, what are you doing there? You must be stalking. You must be surveying. And she tells him that that's just not the case. I'm with my boyfriend. She says it over and over again, I'm just with my boyfriend. As a matter of fact, in that interrogation room, every time Detective Ramos asks her questions about herself, she's forthcoming and truthful. He tells her she has the right to remain silent. She doesn't exercise that right. She tells him exactly what he wants to know when he asks her questions about her. For example, in the interview, Detective Ramos asks, is that you in the car? Without hesitation. She says, yeah, that's me. Another truthful statement. Do you know the guy who drove you to McDonald's? No. She doesn't know him. Just showed up at the Airbnb that night. You guys went to some clubs? Yeah. Couldn't get in, though. And the reason why they didn't go in is because they didn't like the price. They asked the bouncer how much, didn't like the price, didn't go in.
Got him. I solved the whole case right here. I solved the whole case on Deeply Disgusted Show. Got him. I thought they was far away from the club, huh, Mr. Lawyer? But now you're saying they went up to the bouncer and asked for the price? So where's the bouncer at? Okay. So if that's true, you're telling us the facts, right? You're the facts talker. If that is true, bring the bouncer in the club, in the court. I mean, bring the bouncer in the court and let him testify to that. Let him testify like, oh yeah, I seen Alicia, she was in high heels and she looked like a club goer. And she wasn't with a guy with a hoodie on with a mask on, and she didn't have a COVID mask on. Because we don't even allow people in the club with a COVID mask. And number one, I spoke to them and they asked me. It's all a lie. It's all a lie and a bad defense. But like I said, it's not his fault. He didn't do the crime. He just given the tools that he got to work with. That's it.
Do you remember the clubs that you went to? Not really. Is that you and Zay as they walk through the parking lot? Isaiah, they call him Zay. Is that you and Zay? Yeah. Is he using your phone? Yeah. Who was he talking to on the phone? I don't know. At the McDonald's, was Isaiah in the back seat? Yeah. Every time Detective Ramos asks Miss Andrews a question, she's honest, forthcoming, not trying to hide anything. It's just the truth. However, Detective Ramos doesn't like the truth. He gets upset, starts yelling at Alicia, starts cussing at Alicia, starts telling Alicia that she's going to die in jail, starts telling Alicia that her parents are going to die and she'll never get to see them. tell Alicia Andrews that she'll never be able to see her baby again, all because his perception.
She'll never see her baby again. So did she have the baby? Is this breaking news again? Did she have the baby in jail and now the baby belongs to the state? Do the baby belong to the state of Florida? Do Alicia Andrews' baby belong to the state of Florida? He just said she not gonna see her baby again. That means she had the baby. That means there are people on YouTube asking over and over, yo, did she have the baby? Yo, she was lying. She was lying. She was lying. But the lawyer just said, the detective told her she won't see her baby again. But how is that possible? Because that would have mean that she had a baby before she winded up in the somebody. This whole thing is a whole lie and a whole bunch of cockamania, cracking it.
Doesn't fit her reality, and he won't let her reality change his perception. But the reality is Alicia Andrews had one agenda, and this group had an entirely different agenda. You'll see. You'll see that there was no instance in time where Alicia Andrews did anything to contribute to this conspiracy. As the state spoke to you, it spoke quite a while. Never once did they say that Alicia Andrews did anything like touch a gun, touch an extended clip, touch a brass catcher. None of that. You won't find any physical evidence, no DNA, no fingerprints. You think that being a part of this big conspiracy, at least one time, ex-boyfriend or somebody in the group said, hey, hold this gun. Hey, give me that magazine. Hey, what about the brass catcher? Not one time. No physical evidence, no DNA supporting any assertion that Alicia Andrews had anything to do with this conspiracy. It's almost as if Alicia Andrews was not necessary for the trip. Plain as day. It's true. These guys did not need Alicia Andrews to commit murder. No. Alicia Andrews did not know these guys intended to commit murder. No. No evidence whatsoever. Except for Alicia Andrews came to Tampa to be with her boyfriend. The group, all of them in the group, made their phones go ghost, except Alicia Andrews. All of them wore all black attire.
You done killed your whole defense, bro. You done karate kicked your whole defense in the neck. You said that they didn't need Alicia Andrews. And in the next sentence, you basically kind of admitted that they didn't need Alicia Andrews because you said that all their phones went dark and her phone was the only one on. So they needed her. They needed her. Fool. They needed her as a distraction. She's the girl.
Not Alicia Andrews. If the state's right, all of them went in the back door of the Airbnb. Not Alicia Andrews. All of them brought guns, to the party, except Alicia Andrews. It was Alicia Andrews the entire time who had one agenda and one alone, that to be with her boyfriend, never in a group of guys who conspired to kill Charles Jones if the
I disagree. I disagree. She conspired with them to kill Charles Jones, and she was there as a standby distraction. She may not have used a weapon. She may not have shot or cleaned anything off or drove any car, but what she did use is that feminine power. And that feminine power is sometimes bigger, tougher, stronger, and more murderous than any gun you could find in history. Just go and look at the past. That's it. That's it. This is day one. We're going to continue. We're going to do a part 3. Like, subscribe, Depending on how much likes I get on this one, I think about doing a part 3. But let's get it up, baby. Deeply disgusted. Thanks for watching.